All right, we are live. Can everybody hear me? Microphone on, test, test. 1, 2, summertime blue. Caleb, welcome. I'm going to chill for a few minutes, let people gather up. I don't know how many people are going to get in here because there isn't a whole heck of a lot to say about last night, but we'll see. Master Chief, welcome to the chat. Brando, welcome. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Jake Curhan, but honestly, I think that the backup offensive line in general looked pretty good last night, given that they were playing against most of Denver starters. Like, they didn't play against Von Miller, but they played against Bradley Chubb. They were playing against some other starters as well. I think they look pretty good. Like, both times Magoo got sacked, Magoo created the sack. Lyrical, welcome. Yeah, yeah, Sam, I know. Of course I know. My internet works, bro. Yeah, Carl. At the last minute, the people who I was going to watch it with could not watch it with me. So I decided to go ahead and stream this game instead of next week. All right. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get underway. So, welcome everybody. We got 22 people in here. This is a stream to discuss the preseason game last night against the Denver Broncos. We obviously it was a bit of an ugly result. We lost 30-3. There weren't a lot of things to be too happy about, but I do think there were some things to be happy about, and I did point them out in my post-game video this morning. So we're going to talk about whatever needs to be talked about. Go ahead, post your questions in the chat. I will get to them if I can. The stream will go for about 1 hour. I will reply to as many comments as I can, although I probably won't be able to reply to all of them because I may get a lot of them. We'll see. If you have a comment that you really want me to address, you can send it in the form of a super chat, and I guarantee I will reply to it if I see it, which I should if you super chat it for sure. And yeah, channel members are more likely to have their comments replied to as well. And it just actually came, Dominic Wood Anderson has already been cut. Um, I I got the notification like 10 minutes ago that Dominic Wood Anderson has been cut. Yeah, DJ Dallas might be good for return man. It allows him to do something because he's not going to get a ton of carries in the offense. Will Penny be playing in the next preseason game? I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Should we cut Magoo and Mannion, sign Rosen, and have Smith and Rosen compete for the backup QB spot? I'm pretty sure Smith would win that. I mean, Rosen is Rosen, you know? But Ursua tore his ACL, going to be out for the year. I'm sure BBK did as well, but we haven't heard officially there. Now, the question is, do we have to go get another receiver or another linebacker, or do we just put those guys on IR and count those as two of our cuts? That's what I don't know. Yeah, Eskridge could be the return man as well. That's in the cards, but he's not going to be 100% for a little bit probably, so you might want to take it easy on him. Save whatever gas he has for the offense. Tate time? Possibly, but we know that there are problems there too. How much faith do we have in Witherspoon going forward? I don't think you can have any faith in him. I think the play is to let Witherspoon start, and you play him until he gives you a reason to not play him. I think that you understand that things could go wrong, but I think that's the roll of the dice you got to take. Yes, Ethan. Pete did say that. Pete said there would be more starters in the Chargers game, but he didn't say how many, and he didn't really guarantee anything. It would not shock me if we didn't play any starters again. Yeah, I'll do a roster video tomorrow. I think the only cut we're going to make today is Dominic Wood Anderson. So the rest of the cuts, we'll see how we end up playing that. Has Dwayne Brown done anything yet? Not yet. Not yet that I know of. We might see Eskridge against the Chargers. That's possible, but I don't think we might not see Wilson. We might not see Carson. We might not see Metcalf. That remains to be seen. LJ hasn't shown anything in these two games. Yeah, Montez Sweat was on the board, and well, the good news for Collier is that he we don't have Alden Smith, so LJ kind of has to stick around just because of that. But yeah, LJ has not had much of an impact this preseason at all. I'm not seeing much from him yet. um, Definitely concerning. The good news is Alton and Rasheem both look pretty legit. I mean, Rasheem was one of our better players last night. Yeah, DJ's probably been our best overall player so far through two preseason games. Yeah, Akimbo, that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm like we're sitting here and I see people saying, "Oh, we should have played starters. We're getting blasted in every game. This sucks. This is awful. This is terrible." But I'm like, okay, did you see what happened to Ursua and BBK? Like, it can go really bad that way too. Pigeon, I'm gonna need 8 more memberships to do that. Yeah, David, I saw that. No, the thumbnail you sent me is fine. Mask, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not mad about it. Yeah, Kerry Hyder was on the screen a lot, but he did blow some stuff too. Well, KJ Wright cannot take BBK's job because BBK is a special teamer. Do you really want to bring KJ Wright back just to play special teams? Like, I don't think KJ Wright would want to do that. You want young, fast guys on your special teams anyway, not old, slow guys like KJ. You're right, Mass, but it's fine. Yeah, Wood Anderson got cut. And I don't think Des Bryant has anything left. I think Des is kind of shot. If we need to bring in another receiver, which I kind of don't think we do, but if we do, I would rather go get somebody like some UDFA, some young, hungry UDFA. Is Hewitt fast enough for special teams? Possibly. It's hard to know. I think we need CJ Henderson more than ever. I hope we're at least making calls, man. You got to take a shot when somebody like that comes available. Yeah, yeah, I noticed that too, Ethan. It seems like opposing quarterbacks are able to check it down whenever we get pressure. So, a lot of the stuff that opposing defenses are doing against us are, we get good pressure and then we can't finish the play. The QB gets it away, he gets away from the pressure. We've seen a lot of that these first two games. Yeah, Josh Gordon's another good one, actually. I would like Josh Gordon a lot more. I mean, not that I'm saying I would be okay with them starting, but I want to say I think the offensive line played good last night. I think the offensive line played pretty well last night. And personally, not that that really matters for what I'm going to say next. Once we say we're not going to negotiate with a player anymore, I think we hold fast to that. I think we're just like, no, we're not going to negotiate with you anymore. You're going to play on the contract we gave you, or you're going to take the offer we gave you. When this team says that we're done negotiating and we're not going any further than we've already gone, I believe them. Cedric's not going to get cut. I think Pete likes Cedric too much. I mean, the positive thing about last night on offense was, like I said, we were moving the ball. We moved the ball down the field, and then somebody would mess up. It wasn't just a bunch of three and outs. I would much prefer this. I would much prefer this. I'll say that much. Like we had that one stretch where we picked up three straight first downs. Magoo threw two good passes, and then he scrambled for a first down. Who do you think will be the two guys we cut? Well, I'm assuming we only cut two because we don't need to replace our Sioux or BBK, but we might replace those two. That is possible. But I'm going to say the two guys we cut are the two guys that we cut. I'm going to say maybe Magoo. We don't need four QBs. And Magoo may have played himself out of a roster spot. And it seems like Gino has that spot sewn up. So I think one of the two QBs is going to get cut. And the other one, maybe Tachangum, maybe Travis Toivoyin, maybe Moon. It's probably somebody in that group. Yeah, Kimdichi, I kind of want to see him in the third preseason game. I kind of feel like we were looking for any excuse to not play as many players as possible. Which I don't know. I mean, you look at all the injuries we had last night, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I mean, our run defense looked better. It's just we couldn't get it done on third and fourth down, I think. Jordan Brooks has been playing really well so far this preseason. Mannion has a noodle arm, though. I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't matter that much, right? Like, none of these guys are good enough to win in the modern NFL. But you got to pick one guy. You got to pick one of these three guys. I feel like Gino's probably going to be the guy because he's been here a couple years, but it could be Mannion. Hmm. Put Alex on practice squad and I'll be happy. That may very well end up happening. I don't think there's going to be a big push for any team to grab Magoo because he hasn't played very well this post preseason, and he is still relatively young. But the thing is, he is now old enough to where he should be smarter than some of the crap he was doing yesterday. Al Woods and Barton impressed me. Yeah, Al Woods looked good. Al Woods was legit. Al Woods was legit. DJ Dallas was the best player on offense. He actually didn't do that much on offense yesterday, but overall, he's been our best player in the preseason. Well, of course, Pigeon. That I mean, that's literally true. It's literally showing us what happens if we don't have Wilson. Like that's literally factually true. I thought Stone played pretty well yesterday, but yeah, of course I don't want him starting right now. But yeah, I'm going to say it again. I don't think the offensive line played badly yesterday, at least in pass protection. Both sacks were because Magoo just panicked. And I know Jake Curhan had a pretty good PFF grade yesterday, which means something. I think the backup offensive line looked pretty legit for a backup offensive line. I feel like Mike Solari is doing a really nice job with these guys. Yeah, Taylor didn't play a ton, and he's still making goofy mistakes, man. Feels like a lot of guys in our defense are doing stuff that proves that they're athletic and capable and talented, and there some of these guys just aren't quite finishing the play. We're not tackling very well right now. Well, Pigeon, by the time Mannion was in the game, Denver's defense was not the starting Denver defense, but I thought when Magoo was out there, they played okay. I mean, we've seen this before. We are not the first team in NFL history to decide the preseason is not worth our time. Like, we are basically just using the preseason to sort out the bottom of the roster for the most part, and we're not the first team ever to do that. Now, is that the right strategy or the wrong strategy? That cannot really be determined right now, but we we are definitely not competing this preseason, and it's very, like I said in my video, it's very weird because usually we're competing in the preseason. Did Damian Lewis play last night? Does anybody know? I think I saw him a little bit. I did not think I saw Gabe Jackson. Damian Lewis played a little bit? Okay. I thought I saw him. I don't think I saw Gabe Jackson. I do kind of feel like that the team is a little handcuffed because of the Dwayne Brown stuff. I want to know how Damian Lewis is doing at left guard. It it from everything I've heard in training camp, he's doing perfectly fine. All right, so we got about 65 people in here right now. So I want to say thank you to everybody for showing up today. We're about 20 minutes into an hour long stream. If you have not already, please like the stream. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. Become a channel member by clicking the join button down below, $2 or $5 a month, and donations via Super Chat or PayPal or Cash App are always appreciated to help keep the channel going. I'll take Aaron Fuller over Thompson Hart. Yeah, I like Aaron Fuller. I like Aaron Fuller. I've always liked Aaron Fuller. The Posick situation is worrisome. Yeah, the center position in general is something that we could have done a much better job with. Stone held up quite well. Yeah, I think Stone played well. He got credited with 2 sacks allowed, but I don't think either one was. I think both were on Magoo. Magoo's got to get rid of the ball. O line will be fine. Yeah, I think the O line was fine last night for for what they are. Do you believe in Freddie Swain? I believe that he belongs in the NFL and can do some decent things, but I don't believe that he's a future star. Are you buying the hype of the practiced offense? Somewhat, somewhat. I mean, it. We've seen Carroll do things before where he talks up somebody in camp and practice, and then we never see anything from them in a meaningful game. Can we get a free agent center? We could. There are some guys out there. I like Ryder. Can we just skip to the Colts game? Yeah, these preseason games are not fun. Trey Brown wasn't targeted at all. Yeah, I didn't see anything positive or negative from him, but it was pretty good from the little bit that can be judged. Now our wide receiver depth is yikes because our Sioux is gone. I don't think I agree with that. Our Sioux was not really moving the needle anyway. That's true, Nicholas. We did do some positive things on defense, but their offense was playing most of their starters, so you would kind of expect them to be able to get the job done on fourth downs like that. What did you think of Trey Brown last night? Seemed okay. Nothing huge good, nothing huge bad, just kind of okay. Every team in the league scales back their offense in the preseason. Yes, yeah, or at least they should. Maybe not really young teams because they really need to um, get their stuff together. How was Kemdichi? Kemdichi did not play. Kemdichi did not play. I think Posick will be decent. I think Posick will be decent too, but you definitely could have done a little better than decent this offseason. Yeah, I don't like the Jordan Brooks selection. I have never liked the Jordan Brooks selection. You will never get me to like that pick, but he's a good player. At least I can say that. At least he's a good player. Kerry Hyder was involved in quite a few plays, but he also blew a couple plays. I think he missed a couple tackles, but he also you can you can see the talent, you can see the capabilities. I mean, Brooks got beat in coverage on that one play, but that was a really good throw, and his coverage was not bad. I can't kill him for that. That was a really good throw by Bustwater, Bilgewater, Buttwater. Who would you have taken with that pick? At the time, I would have taken AJ Epinenza, but there were other guys available too at that pick. I remember streaming that draft, and I did not like that pick. There were a lot of guys that I wanted there. Let me refresh my memory, but the guy that I liked there that I recall was Epinenza. I liked Isaiah Wilson, which would have been a big wolf. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire was interesting. I liked T. Higgins, DeAndre Swift. There were a couple guys. I just don't like using a first round pick on an outside linebacker in a 4-3 defense. Yeah, Taylor overshot the sack on that one. Why was Penny so quiet? A couple different theories on that one. What do you think about Heslop? He's actually playing pretty well, but I don't know if there's room for him. He might be a practice squatter. No, I didn't want Patrick Queen either. I don't like linebackers in the first round. That's possible, Green Earth. I mean, not that this means much, but people keep saying that Penny looks really good in training camp and practice. So maybe we've seen enough from him in those snaps and we're like, well, whatever. The preseason's fart. Like, who cares? Maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. Because we're running him right up into the middle, too. We're not even using him in the way that I wanted to use Penny. Who's getting cut? Well, Dominic Wood Anderson already got cut. Who do you think could be a surprise cut? I'm thinking Witherspoon. We don't really save any money if Witherspoon gets cut, so I don't think it can be Witherspoon. Surprise cut. Surprise cut. Would Travis Homer count? Does Connor Weddington count? Um, Demarius Randall. I don't know if he counts. That wouldn't be that surprising. Hey, Sean Ebb. If Posick gets cut, then what are we doing at center? Are we just moving Damian Lewis over? I guess we could do that, but I don't know how I feel about jerking him around like that. Like, moved his position twice in 1 year. That's you're pushing it. How did Daryl Taylor and Alton Robinson look? Daryl Taylor looked really talented, but raw. He made a lot of mistakes. Alton Robinson, I didn't see a ton from him. I saw a little bit from him, and he looked fine. He looked fine. Rasheem Green was our best defensive lineman last night, I think. Yeah, yeah, Pigeon. Hmm. Rasheem Green's probably making the roster for sure now. Alton had a great game against the run last night. Yeah, I can believe that because our run defense was better last night. I don't think there's any way Witherspoon gets cut. He might get benched, but there's no way he gets cut, I don't think. What will we do with the left tackle position if Dwayne continues to hold out? We might go pick up somebody like Russell Okung and go forward with what we have. Jamarco Jones, Stone Forsyth, we'll figure it out. Maybe the Jets cut George Fant and we can go get him. Um, Pigeon, systematically, I like what I see from the Waldron offense so far. I think we're doing a lot of things right in terms of the process with the new Waldron offense. The results have not been great. Well, Noah, I think it's just because veterans are old, they're slow, and they're less hungry. They've already made their money. Some of them have already got Super Bowl rings. Like Ryder has a ring, KJ Wright has a ring, Golden Tate has a ring. These guys have less to play for. Yeah, Stone's legit. Stone is legit so far. And I mean, for what he is. I don't want him to start right now, don't get me wrong, but for what he is, so far pretty good. We're getting up to the line of scrimmage with 20 seconds left on the play clock. It's great. I love that stuff. That stuff is so crucial. Well, yeah, the offense was always going to struggle in the first few games. That you have to be willing to accept that if you're going to switch coordinators like this. Like if you weren't willing to accept that, then you should have just stuck with Schottenheimer. And you could have an offense like last year where sometimes it's great, but sometimes it's really not. I want better play out of our defensive tackles. Well, we haven't had our best defensive tackle yet, so yeah. And I still think you'll see LJ Collier mostly play tackle this year, and right now he's playing a little bit of end. Dragon Gaming, I feel like this is Bobby's last year, or at least it should be. But past the end of the contract, if he somehow sticks around, I can't imagine it. Unless he's willing to play for cheap. Yeah, defense needs to carry a little bit, but I believe they should be able to. Brooks. Brooks is a middle linebacker. He's playing outside right now because he has to, but Brooks is meant to be a middle linebacker, as far as I'm concerned. I don't want Gilmore. The only cornerback I want to trade for is CJ. I don't want Gilmore and I don't want Xavier Howard. I think both those are kind of like garbage ideas. I hate both of them. Xavier Howard's a little bit better just because he's actually really good and kind of young, but it would cost way too much money. Yeah, Nick Ballore, man. I mean, God help us if he ever has to play linebacker in a real game, but Nick Ballore, he's you got to appreciate that guy. Akimbo, I think we had one guy comment on my video this morning, and he made a good point. The years where the Seahawks won a lot of preseason games, they had a young team that had a lot of reason to play in the preseason. Now we're an old team that has no reason to play in the preseason. So that definitely has something to do with it. SC, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? Who are you? What are you doing here? Who am I? Where am I? Um, I think we should do something. I get the sense that we won't, but we have the money. And if you're going to go all in to win a Super Bowl this year, you should go all the way in. Yeah, the CJ Henderson thing might be dead, but that's the only trade I really want to make. I don't want Gilmore, who's probably halfway to washed up. I don't want Howard, who's going to cost $100 million when we just gave Jamal Adams $70 million, and we're going to have to extend Metcalf next year. Like, eventually, it becomes a problem. Do you think Cody Barton can compete with Brooks? Probably not. But Barton's playing pretty well. I'll give him that. I'll give him that much. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of cuts, and some good cornerback is going to shake free. I want Cody Barton at middle linebacker only. Yeah, the funny thing is, when Cody Barton was drafted, most of the draft sites said he would be a good Sam, but I don't see it at all. Maybe there's something with him I'm not seeing because he hasn't played that much for us, but I'm not seeing that from Barton. Well, yeah, Nicholas, of course. We might have the best safeties in the league. It's going to be a lot better when we have them out there instead of Ryan Neal, who, shout out Ryan Neal. I think he played pretty well yesterday, too, but we had Ryan Neal and Ugo Amadi playing safety yesterday. Do you believe we should sign a center over a wide receiver? Yeah. I don't think we have a problem at wide receiver, really. Ursua was not going to make the 53-man anyway. Yeah, Neal got hurt. We don't know how bad yet, though. Hopefully that's not that big. But he doesn't have a big role on this team until next year. Or not next year, but until... Oh my god, dude. I'm watching the Timbers game in the background. This dude gets tripped, and he's literally rolling around on the grass like a dog doing the rollover trick. And then he just gets up and he's total... Oh my... How do people watch this sport and take it seriously? Okay. Anyway, we're going to have to pay Diggs too. We don't have to. It's an option. Yeah. I want to be clear about something. I have no issue with Jamal Adams doing everything he can to try to get paid. Like, if you're good at something, you never do it for free. There's nothing wrong with Jamal Adams. Now, the issue I had with Jamal Adams was him holding out over such a tiny amount of guaranteed money that he clearly was not going to reasonably be able to expect to get. Like that, but that might have just been a thing where he didn't want to start practicing yet, so whatever. What's up, Tumbo? But yeah, I am not. That's boomer stuff, guys. I get people in my comments saying like, "Oh, I'm sick of this Jamal Adams baby. He's a millionaire and he wants more millions, and these greedy people. I make $100 a day at my job." No, that's boomer crap. Okay, we don't do that here. I don't do that here. There's nothing wrong with these players trying to get as much money as they can during the short window of time when they can make a lot of money. And I promise you this, every single team in the NFL is making a ton of money. This is not like what basketball was doing 10 years ago. 10 years ago, basketball teams were losing money because players were making too much. That is not happening in the NFL. These teams are making a ton of money. Every single one, even the terrible teams. And this might be the last big contract Jamal Adams ever gets to sign. We don't know. This is the one chance he has to create generational wealth. Can you imagine the weaker links like O-line and CBs rise to the occasion for a Super Bowl run? That's what we need. I mean, that's at least some of what we need. Yeah, exactly, David. Every team in the league makes a profit. I hate it when fans pocket watch like stop hating because they have it better than you. Because if you were in that position, you would do the same unless you're an idiot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I can understand fans caring about how much a player gets paid because of salary cap stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to hold a player like a Russell Wilson to a very high standard because he makes $35 million a year. And if he doesn't live up to that, I'm going to smash him for it. But I have no problem with him using his negotiating powers and his, years and years of elite play to get as much money as he can. Everybody does that. Yeah, man. Yeah, Mask. I saw that. Maybe Mitch Trubisky will get re-signed by the Bears in a few years off of that performance. Well, the thing is, the Jamal Adams contract is not bad. The first 2 years are a bargain. The third year is okay. The fourth year is rough, but it won't be that rough by the time we get there because it's going to be, it's going to be the cap is going to be way up, and then the fifth year he probably won't see because either he'll be cut or extended or whatever. See you later, Empower. And yeah. By the way, I if I see one more Seahawks fan talk about the Russell Wilson stuff, like, oh, Brady takes less money, I swear to God, I'm going to drop kick you across the field. That is like the one player in NFL history, the one NFL player who actually took less money, and it's because his wife makes 10 times as much money as he does. Like, you can't hold other players to that standard. That is a once in a generation fluke that Brady's able to do what he does. So yeah, we don't do that boomer crap here. Every player has a right to negotiate for as much money as they think they can get. Yeah, but anyway, I don't think that many people think Josh Allen's better than Wilson. I think they think he was better last year, but that's a little different. Yeah, Wood Anderson already got cut, guys. Thank the Lord. Yes, that's true, Green Earth. He did get some money under the table and everybody knows about it, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. But I like the way Josh Allen plays football. He's got the right mix of he developed a deep ball last year, really good deep ball last year. But Wilson's always had a good deep ball, so yeah, I think Wilson's better than Josh Allen probably, but what matters is he going to be better than him this year? All right. So, well, that list is garbage, Tumbo. I mean, Fletcher Cox is ranked lower on that list than KJ Wright. I'm sorry, that's silly. That's insane. And KJ had a good year last year. I'm not hating on KJ, but Fletcher Cox, especially for his position and the value he adds at his position, like, I like KJ, but there's a reason why he's not on a team. What he does is not that valuable. Penny Hart is definitely going to make the team, I think, Michael, and so is Posick. He has to, kind of. Homer, yeah, Homer might not make the team. I would do CJ Henderson for a third drop top, but I don't think Jacksonville would. Yeah, yeah, Emmett. I mean, I get it, but it's like Do you think if we were given the option to forfeit that game last night, we would have done it? It didn't seem like we valued it that much. There was very little competition, and I mean, in some areas, I kind of get it. Like the whole, not having Dwayne Brown means really limits what you can do on offense, but it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. Oh, the Timbers are getting their, what's pushed in. Sometimes I leave Root on after the Mariners game and I watch a little bit of soccer. Uh, I don't get it, guys. Pete didn't challenge the touchdown. I mean, it's preseason, so who gives a crap? I guess. But we were talking about that in the stream last night. We were talking about that in the stream last night, and we couldn't determine if that was legal or not to hand the ball off forward to an offensive lineman. And we eventually came to the conclusion that if he was behind the line of scrimmage, it was fine, and if he was ahead of the line of scrimmage, it's a penalty. But I don't know if he was behind the line of scrimmage or not. I don't know. Yeah, and I'm going to make a video about this in a couple of days. I'm going to make a video about this, but Pete Carroll keeps saying, I have no concern about Dwayne Brown being ready for week one. I know he's going to be there. He's definitely going to be there. If he's wrong about that, like, can somebody please remember that he said that? Because that's going to make me mad. Like, it's one thing, like, okay, if he really wants to hold out and he decides he's going to be a pain about this and he's, that's on Dwayne Brown. But for Carroll to say, I know he's going to be there, if he's not there, then he doesn't know what's going on. Just can everyone please remember that Carroll said that in a couple weeks if it comes to the point where he doesn't? Yeah, Kerry Williams, one of the oh boy. Oh, and that by the way, the worst unit on this team right now so far through two preseason games looks like the cornerbacks. That's supposed to be Pete's area too, so remember that as well. That's what I'm going to say about that. I mean, if this team doesn't want to do anything in the preseason, fine. Like, that's their call, but it better be the right call, is what I'm trying to get at here. Like, you're making a gamble here. Now, you're gambling if you play your starters in the preseason, as we saw yesterday with all the injuries we had, but you have to understand what's best for your team. And if we get this wrong, then, well, remember, they are back practicing. Yeah, Wentz Nelson. I cannot believe the Colts are going to play Winston week one. I cannot believe that. Mr. Glassman himself, and you're going to send him out there on one foot with very little practice? That seems like such a bad idea. You guys know I love Frank Reich. I think he's a brilliant coach. But if Wentz gets hurt week one trying to play against the Seahawks, then um, demote him to offensive coordinator for a year and as like punishment or something. Maybe we sign Sherm during week five. If things aren't going well, that's on the table. But I've said this before. I'll say it again. The only cornerback we could get who I think could really change this team's fate is CJ Henderson. His exact words were he's not concerned about Brown playing. Yeah, and you better be right. If you're going to say something like that, you better be right. Because if you're wrong, then you didn't understand what was going on very well at all. Well, Green Earth, the Bud Foster thing, here's the thing. Pete Carroll's defensive philosophy is let them go down the field 5 yards at a time. Let them go down the field, like 5, 6 yards at a time, and eventually they'll mess up, and then we'll get the ball back. Bud Foster sounds like he's the opposite. He's like, go for the ball, go for the turnover, go for the big play, and if you give up 40-yard plays every now and then, it's fine. It's like the exact opposite of what Pete wants to do. So yeah, I don't know. Spoon will get benched, then an injury will make him start, and then Spoon will be good. Um, that would follow his career arc so far. Like, yesterday he had one good play on third down, had really good coverage, forced the fourth down, and then he gave up the completion on fourth down. So it's the roller coaster. It's the Ahkello Witherspoon roller coaster. We might be jumping on it. And to go back to this topic real quick, a lot of these players, even if they don't need the money, they just want to get paid what they feel like they're worth. I remember Sean Alexander when he was with the Seahawks talking about it. Like, Walter Jones got a big extension, and then Matt Hasselbeck got a big extension. And then Sean Alexander didn't get his extension. He got franchise tagged, and he's like, well, what the hell? You thought that guy was worth it because he's great? You thought that guy was worth it? He got paid, but are you saying I'm not worth it? I just want what I feel like I deserve. I look at what you gave these guys, and I feel like based off of that, I should get this. Sometimes it's just about I want to feel like you guys value what I do. Shaquille Griffin leaving us. Pigeon, you need to be able to replace a guy like Shaq Griffin. Shaq Griffin was pretty good, but you should be able to replace him. You should not need to pay $45 million dollars for a Shaq Griffin tier player. You should be able to go find somebody else who can replace him. If you can't, then your GM is no good and your coach is no, or your talent evaluation is no good. No, get Shaq Griffin out of here. Penny Hart was going to make the roster anyway. I think he's a good special teamer too. Shaq was a pretty good player, but you got to be able to replace a guy like that. He's not a future Hall of Famer that you'll never be able to replace. Yep, I'm off the Alex train. That was atrocious. I don't think Russ will play, if I had to guess, but I'm not sure. I would guess that he won't play. Yeah, Michael, I think that was always the plan this year. The pass rush bails out the corners. The pass rush bails out the corners. That's the plan. Hopefully the plan works because even at my most optimistic, I wasn't thinking these corners were going to be that good. I'm just hoping they're not atrocious. Josh Johnson has a long shot chance of making the roster, but we kind of have a lot of capable running backs. Like DJ Dallas has to make the roster. He's played too well. Yeah, Robinson, Alton's legit. Dude, he did it again. He fell down on his own and he's rolling around and he's got like the entire staff of MASH out checking on him like he's dead and then he just I watch professional poker, so maybe I can't point fingers at anything. How do you guys watch this sport? I wish we would change our defense. I mean, we've been in this defense a long time. I'll grant you that. Yeah, Jordan Brooks has had a good preseason so far. I will say this, though. When you're starting at linebacker, it's not that hard to get tackles like you're supposed to. That being said, he is making plays in the backfield, plays at the line of scrimmage. He's doing some good stuff. Now, I think poker's fascinating, Gregory. It's definitely more interesting than soccer. Now, is it more entertaining than soccer? Most people would say no, but this sport's goofy, man. Would you give the Dunbar trade an F? I don't know about an F, but like D minus, F plus, something like that. Yeah, Zue, I am actually a big professional poker fan. At least you can look at Jennifer Tilly's rack during poker. Yeah, although I haven't seen her around that much lately, and last time I saw her, not looking so great. Not looking her best. Wentz could be back week 1. Yeah, yeah, we've been talking about that a little bit in here. It's so hard for me to believe. Like, it's Carson Wentz. If it was like an Iron Man, like a Manning brother or a Brady or Wilson, then like those guys, they're durable. Okay, but Wentz, Mr. Glass himself, do you want to blow your biggest offseason acquisition? Yeah, Dunbar got cut from the Lions. I think he's having personal issues, but those personal issues might be his knee is just permanently messed up. So, mhm. Yeah, I watch the Lodge stream sometimes. My boy Rampage, who I actually watched the vlog of, I don't know if you know who that is, but I did get to see him blow off 10 grand on like the worst hand I've ever seen anyone play ever. It might literally be the worst poker hand I've ever seen in my life. He he's a goofball. Yeah, Zue, who's your favorite pro? Just real quick. Sorry to take us off topic a little bit here, but who's your favorite pro? Yeah, Stone. Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying it. I think the backup offensive line looked okay. They looked okay. I like the way some of those guys are developing. Jake Curhan, Stone, Forsyth. I'm down with it. Fuller, not so much. Honestly, Lundblade didn't look any worse or better. Is the only reason soccer is popular is because it's really, really easy to play because all you need is a ball and like a couple of garbage cans? Is that the only reason why soccer's popular? Because you don't need any equipment? So, like, you can be, as impoverished as they get and you can still play it? Lestage played a bit? Yeah. Okay, we have some Negreanu fans in chat. I hope Wentz is out there. He may know Reich's offense, and his teammates are still learning to play with each other. Yeah, I mean, we always beat Carson Wentz, right? Even when he was going to win MVP, we always beat Carson Wentz. Our fantasy draft is happening right now, Andrew. It's in the Discord. We're doing it in Discord this year. I'm not concerned about losing games. I'm concerned about the lack of effort in some areas. Like winning or losing games in the preseason, like I believe me, I've been watching football long enough to know that doesn't matter, but certain things do. And I see some things that I like, but I'm also seeing some things that I don't like. I picked Derrick Henry 2 overall. I don't really like fantasy football that much. I got to be perfectly honest. I'm just doing it for the Discord. Thoughts on Josh Johnson? He seems all right, but I don't think there's any room for him. Do you like Kenny? Kenny? Do you mean Bryn Kenny? I actually don't, and I don't know why. I think he might be the best player in the world, and I usually like guys like that, but there's something about his face that I don't like. If you're talking about Bryn Kenny, there's something about his face that I just don't like. Yeah, Flowers didn't do anything offensive last night, I guess. He gave up a 5 yard completion on 3rd and 6, which, you force fourth down. I don't know what it is, Pigeon, but there are certain poker players. Like when I see a new poker player, a new big time pro, I will often see one thing that they do, like the first thing I see them do. Um, it just kind of informs whether or not I like them. Like, I don't like Sam Greenwood for some reason. I don't know why. But he's an amazing player, but there's just something about the way he looks that I don't like. But I like Steven Chidwick. He's awesome. Um, I think usually it's because I see one or two hands from these guys and I quickly form a take on them. You know? Is it realistic to have Posick, Lockett, and Kimdichie and Blair to not only be healthy but in a good state for week one? I mean, I think that's the expectation right now, honestly. Thoughts on Nick Ballore? Cool dude. Cool dude. Um, Obviously, what he's doing is not overall that valuable, but he's a soldier. Wow, the Timbers are getting clobbered. The the Timbers are getting whipped. Yikes. Do you like the streamer Flight? He has to be acting. There's no way he's that dumb. There's no way he actually thinks the things that he does. Like he was watching the highlight of Dak Prescott breaking his leg, and he kept calling him Dake Prescoot because he didn't know how to pronounce the name, but no one is that stupid. No one is that stupid to look at the name Dak Prescott and think, like, you'd pronounce it Dake Prescoot. No. Like, it has to be an act. So I don't know if I like him or not. If it's an act, then whatever. But if he really is like that, then no, I don't really like him. He's pretty dumb. I think we're better than the Niners this year, but we don't know who they're going to have at quarterback right now, so that's a little unfair. Ugh. Hmm. Uh, I don't know, Andrew. I would guess yes, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to stream for a couple more minutes here, and then I'm going to get going. You might see me stream Dead by Daylight or something tonight. You might not. I don't know. Keep an eye out. Hey, Brandon Mikel, what's up? What's your record prediction for the team? Before the preseason, I said 12-5. I guess I'll stick with that. The thing is, I don't think 12-5 will win the division, so that's probably not good enough. Need to find a way to squeak out a win again to sweep Arizona or something, or beat Pittsburgh because I had us losing that game. Yeah, Jimmy G's going to start it first. Well, yeah, Green Earth. That's why I'm saying either he's really dumb or it's an act. It's like, if he's acting, then I like him because if it's an act, then I get it. He's trying to get attention. He's trying to get views. Like, it's Phil Hellmuth, right? Phil Hellmuth, the poker brat stuff is an act. That's why I like Phil Hellmuth because I know it's an act. If he was actually that much of a prick, then I wouldn't like him. Yeah, I hate 17 games. Stupid. If you're going to give us 17 games, give every team 2 bye weeks or something. I hate it. I hate it. But whatever. Andrew, that's not even a real question. Of course, this is the last year for Aaron Rodgers. This is obviously the last year for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He's already said it is. Would I take Richard Sherman back? If the stars aligned, I'm not I wouldn't automatically be opposed to it. I'll say that. Vikings should be a little better than they were last year, I guess. I have a feeling if Sherman signed, he wouldn't be allowed to play right now. No, KJ's not done in the NFL. He's just going to have to wait for somebody to get hurt, probably. Where do you see Rodgers playing next year? It. I can't predict that. I don't know who's going to need a quarterback. But Helmuth does blow up genuinely sometimes, but a lot of it's an act. Like, there's no way Helmuth is dumb enough to actually think some of the stuff he blows up about is blow upable. Like, he raises preflop with pocket eights, someone calls out of the big blind with queen 10 suited, and then, or the button with queen 10 suited. Helmuth makes a set, dude makes a straight, and he's like, I can't believe you call my raise from the button with queen 10 suited. It's like, dude, everyone in the world would call the button with queen 10 suited. Like, come on. He's not that dumb. There's no way. I think Kimdichi will play a little bit, yeah. Should we cut Penny? We probably should, but I don't think we will. And honestly, like, we're not saving any money doing it, really, so. Who do I think will be the biggest bust from this class? Um, probably the offensive lineman the Lions drafted, Penai Sewell. The Lions are poison. All right, guys. I think that's going to go ahead and do it for this stream. Thank you for coming out. Like the stream if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. We will be doing more videos later this week. We will be doing more Seahawks content before the Chargers game. And yeah, counting down the days to a meaningful game. So thank you for coming out. You have more content coming down the pipe. See you later.